made a few mistakes, but I'm improving. I'm human, but I've been making daily resolutions. I got to. You might do it different, but I'm not you.
Hey, Mark.
I'm self-made. I'm
Hey, Mark.
doing things that
Mark.
I was never taught.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Hey Mark, the podcast where I'm Mark, get to have open and authentic conversations about things like mental health, self-development, maybe things that you have going on in your work life, your personal life, your family life, your home life, whatever it may be. I just want to start conversations around things that, maybe are stigmatized or we just don't get the opportunity to talk about on a day-to-day basis because they just don't come up in everyday conversation. And so the reason I'm trying to do this is because I want other people to think, well, and you as well, if you're listening to this, that no matter what you are going through, no matter what you're dealing with right now, whatever you're thinking, what thoughts are rushing through your head, you're not alone. You're, able to talk about what you're going through and what you're thinking about, and life can and will get better for you. And so if you align with that, if you are down with that shit, then please share this with somebody that can benefit from hearing it. Maybe somebody that you love, that you care about, that might be going through something or has gone through something in the past and is kind of still dealing with it. This segment of the show is called What Would Mark Do? It's an opportunity for you to kind of, send me a clip, maybe brag about something that you have going on in your life, a big win. Maybe ask me a question, maybe, talk about some struggles that you might have going on in your life. Whatever it might be, and I'll just kind of, give you my 2 cents and allow other people the opportunity to kind of, share their comments or concerns maybe in the comments section of this if you're watching the YouTube version of the IGTV video or anything on Instagram, or any social media. I just want to create a community where we can kind of all collaborate and work together to find happiness, success, whatever that might mean in your life. And so let's roll today's clip without further ado, and I'll give you my 2 cents. Let's go right now.
Hey, Mark. Thanks for having me on your podcast. Let's start right away. Maybe you know this feeling of a job, or maybe a combination of multiple jobs, that gets you out of bed every morning, lets you do the thing you love all day and be happy at night. So I'm at this point where I really like what I do all day, but there's always this little voice in my head that says, is this really the thing you want to do all day, every day for the rest of your life? I was thinking this is the thing, but if there's this voice, I don't know. So have you had this point, and how do you deal with this? So especially, how do you stay focused through this, thoughts? So let me know about that. Thanks, boy.
Max, thank you for listening all the way in Germany, out there in Europe. For those of you that don't know, I'm chilling in Vancouver, BC. And so that's really sick to think that, there's people listening way out there as well. That really means a lot to me, bro. Thank you for supporting, and thank you for sending me this question. And to be 100% honest, I fucking love this question. It is something that nobody's really asked about, but it's something that I think about all the time, and I've talked to with other friends of mine. And it's not something that I really ever hear brought up in social media, which is, how do you know if you're pursuing the right thing? And so have I felt like that in the past? I'll give you a little rundown of, my life or career path after high school. So after high school, I went to college. Initially, I wanted to go in for sports science. I didn't get into the program I wanted. I ended up getting into a business management program. I lasted about 1.5 years before I dropped out. The entire time I was working in a restaurant as pretty much any position they would give me. Started off as a delivery boy, worked in the kitchen as well. And then I ended up working as a host and a server. And I worked there for a couple years while I was doing that, college stint. Then I stopped doing that to go work in construction for a while. Started my carpentry apprenticeship. And after about 1.5 years of that, I gave up and realized that I didn't really want to do labor. I wanted to find a way that I could chase my dreams in bodybuilding. And so I ended up quitting that job to go work in the gym. Again, I would take any position they would give me. I ended up working in sales first and ended up working my way up, climbing the corporate ladder, working in that gym for a couple years. I worked there for just under 4 years, became a general manager in the gym before I ended up quitting and realizing I wanted more freedom. Then I started some online businesses, trying to sell some stuff, drop shipping, try and make a quick buck. I failed miserably at that and lost a couple grand. Not the stupidest thing I've ever done, but not the smartest thing I've ever done. And after I wasted all my money trying to become financially free and quote unquote online entrepreneur, I started this podcast, and I was working in a restaurant as well. That was getting closer and closer to 2019, and we all know what happened at the end of 2019. So I needed a more reliable source of work, and I've been doing home renovations and some restoration work ever since. So that's been, for about just over a year and a half now as well. And so every single time I switch jobs and switch positions, I always feel like that's the one for me, right? Like I really liked working in restaurants because it was a really social environment. And the entire time I always fantasized maybe about owning my own little neighborhood pub, kind of having my own music playing all the time, just having my buddies come by for some food and some drinks, and just having a blast, watching sports and joking around. I really enjoyed that environment. It was really fun for me, and it's a job that naturally I'm kind of good at because I enjoy just talking to people like this, or like the interviews that you see me do as well. When I worked in the gym, it was very similar because I've always been addicted to, health and wellness and fitness and going to the gym. That's where a lot of my friendships were made, my best friends. My roommate Aiden, I met in the gym in college. And, quite a lot of my friends I've met through working out or playing sports. And so being in the gym every single day, all day was pretty cool for me. It was a pretty positive environment. It was a pretty positive environment for the most part. That was weird how I just stumbled on that. It was a pretty positive environment. Working in the gym was pretty sick. It was a pretty positive environment for the most part. I got to just hang out in a gym and sell gym memberships, and I learned a lot in terms of sales, in terms of, myself, gaining a little bit more confidence, gaining a little bit more discipline, and I always fantasized as well about opening my own gym. Anyways, flash forward to right now, where I'm living at right now. I've worked in so many different industries, and every single time I'm in one, it feels like that might be the right thing for me. But there's always this weird doubt in the back of my head, exactly like you said in your clip, where I feel like there might be something that I would enjoy a little bit more every single day, something that might get me out of bed a little bit more excited, because, not every day I do wake up excited for going to work and renovating someone's home, or having to do a bunch of hours of editing. It doesn't always make me excited, for the podcast or for construction. But that kind of made me, meditate on that problem for quite a while and journal about that problem for quite a while. And I've had copious amounts of conversations with people in my life that are pretty close to me, because this is a topic that, just like is bothering you, bothered me for quite a long time. And I still have those weird, thoughts of self-doubt. I just know how to combat them a little bit better. And so this is what I really had to think about when I was thinking about, is what I'm chasing right now the right thing for me to be pursuing? Am I pursuing the right goals? Am I chasing the right dreams? There's so many things that do make me excited in life. There's so many things that kind of give me that adrenaline rush, or that excitement or happiness or fulfillment. And so I always think, maybe, is this the right one? Is that the right one? What should I be chasing? And what I had to really think about was, a few things. The first one being, who I wanted to be in the future. What kind of version of Mark would I be proud of, or proud to be in the future? And is what I'm doing, or what I'm chasing or pursuing right now, is that, does it coincide with getting to, who I want to be? Does it align with my values? Does it align with, somebody that I'd be proud to be? If I were to look at my life from a bird's eye view, would I be proud to say, yes, that's exactly what I would do? That's one of the things that I kind of think about. I think about who I am now and who I want to be and the steps that it will take to get there. I think about growth opportunities for me as well. That's one of the other things is you have to kind of understand your own personality. And with my personality, I get bored of doing the same things all the time. I need something new and fun and challenging, a new puzzle to solve. And so for me, renovating homes and kind of learning how to scale a business as well are two things that, you know, you're dealing with different challenges on a day-to-day basis. And it's consistently kind of putting out fires and figuring out new problems. And it's just, a different work environment every single day. And it does provide a social aspect because when you're on a job site, you're dealing with coworkers, you're dealing with homeowners. And you get to meet a lot of interesting people. You do have to meet a lot of shitty people as well, but you get to work with and work for a lot of cool people, and it just allows you to build a lot of great connections. I met Zach. You've heard him multiple times on my podcast, the Plaid Jacket Philosopher. I met him on a job site. He's an electrician. Our companies have worked together in the past, and he's, you know, a very well-vetted journeyman in his own respective trade, and I'm an apprentice. So there's a lot of cool things that, you know, I can learn from him, even though we're not in the same trade. He's an electrician and I'm a carpenter, but I can see how he's progressed in his trade from being an apprentice. And I wasn't there when he first started, but I've heard about his story and how he's grown. And so his mentalities and the mistakes that he's made can be examples for me to learn from. And so you build great connections, and you get to do new things every single day. And that's not, you know, things that are specific to working in construction. Those are just things that I've noticed about my career that I'm pursuing right now and how they align with what I want to be doing and who I want to be. And so that kind of, I know, hopefully gives you an idea or a perspective on how you can think of it a little bit differently. Because look, at the end of the day, you're not going to wake up every single morning and love everything you're fucking doing, especially if you're grinding and maybe you have a side hustle as well. You're working on maybe one or two things, and then you're trying to balance that with, you know, a love life, your personal life, your friends, your family members, your working out, your health and wellness. Like, all of these things are kind of flying at you at different times and at different priority levels, I guess, because some things have different amounts of urgency to them as well. And so you're not going to wake up excited. Sometimes you are going to wake up stressed out. Sometimes you are going to wake up anxious. Sometimes you're going to wake up pissed off and feel like things are unfair. Like you have to put in a level of work that other people don't have to put in. And to be blunt, if you're wanting to create something greater than most people have, you are going to have to put in more work than most people do. And that's just a fact. We all know it to be true as well. To get a leg up is really, really difficult. So how do you know if you're pursuing the right thing? I would think about who you are right now, who you want to be in the future. Maybe think about your core values and what would be your dream life. And then think about, you know, are the things that you're pursuing right now going to allow you to have that dream life that you're looking to have? You know, whether that's the relationships that you want to have with people or the materialistic stuff like the cars you want to drive, the vehicle you want to drive, the clothing you want to wear, maybe the haircut you want to have, the tattoos that you have on your skin, whatever it might be. Think about what you want your life to look like. Do you want to have a house out in the farms in a rural area, or do you want to have like a small bachelor apartment in a downtown city like Vancouver up on a penthouse suite? I don't know. Like, think about the life that you want to have, and then think about the things that you're pursuing right now and the behaviors that you take on a daily basis, because this doesn't only come down to your career. This comes down to what you pursue on a daily basis, because every day you are working towards something, whether it feels like you're physically working or not. You know, everything you do builds momentum in a certain way, and momentum works in both ways, both in positive and negative. And so every day you are pursuing something with your actions, and every single action that you have is going to reflect on what your future looks like. So if you're spending your days, you know, pursuing things or wasting your time, you know, pursuing things that aren't going to help get you to where you want your life to be, then you can't really be surprised when your life isn't the way that you want it to look, right? And that's I think what that question is getting at is, I don't want to look 40 years from now. I don't want to look back into the past and think, fuck, I should have pursued something different. And, I'm 25, so maybe I don't have this type of perspective yet. But the best advice I can give to avoid that, regret or thinking about your life with regret, the best way to avoid that is to, picture where you would want to be and then try and map out the best you can on how to fucking get there. Obviously, you're not going to nail it perfect and your plan's not going to be absolutely perfect, but you'll execute it the best you can. And if it's getting you in the wrong direction, you'll adjust, you'll course correct from there, right? So for me, I've kind of sat down and I've evaluated, who I am right now and where I want to be in the future and kind of what the gap between that looks like. I've kind of mapped out my core values and what's important to me. And then I've compared that to what I'm doing on a daily basis, in terms of my career, in terms of, the relationships I have with my loved ones. And that has given me a little bit more comfort. I still do get those voices in the back of my head that, make me doubt myself or doubt if I'm doing the right thing, or I do get anxious and stressed out about that stuff all the time, or even if I have enough time to get where I want to get. And so I understand the anxiety and the stress because I feel it too, and it is intense and it is nerve-wracking, and I get this weird pit in my stomach. But this is just one tactic I use to kind of comfort myself a little bit and keep me, focused on working as opposed to worried. So I hope that gives you a different perspective on it and allows you to focus up a little bit more on the things that you are pursuing and decide if they are the right things to pursue in the first place. Again, thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for sending in your clip. Feel free to send in your clips if you're just listening to this and you're not Max from Germany. But if you are Max from Germany, thank you so much. That's all I got. Much love and peace out.